Kottakkal Ayurveda. Hari Om.
Vasudha is listening online.
Huh?
Vasudha is listening online.
Oh.
Yeah. Last week somebody asked which shloka. She was replying from India.
Oh, really? So she calculated the time and all that, huh? Wow.
Luckily, her part of Bangalore is not impacted.
Ah.
There's power, Wi-Fi.
Everybody is fine. Only 20% of Bangalore, which is encroachment land, is having problems. And media is hyping it so much. I was so concerned when I saw this. And I called my parents, and my brother is like, no problem at all in old Bangalore. Where all these Bellandur, Yamalur and all, they're encroached lakes. And they've filled it up. Obviously water will go there now.
Whole Chennai is the story now.
Yeah.
Lake encroachment.
Correct.
Lake?
Lake bed la, dried up lakes la, they have built high rises.
Yeah.
Oh.
And during Chennai floods, many of them had problem. Same problem in Bangalore.
Swamiji, each
Ah.
flat is 17 to 18 crores. Now it's all
Go.
like washed out, and people are minting money per night. Hotel stay in that area is 40,000 rupees. Extra.
Where do they have money?
They have money to buy 19 crore property, right? So,
But unfortunately,
So we are all poor people, huh?
very poor, Swamiji. Compared to India, we are all very, very poor. You go shopping, everybody takes out like rupees like nobody's business.
Nobody bargains.
No.
If you bargain, you are from America.
We like, anyway, we can't bargain here. We'll try in India our luck. They're like, oh yeah, poor Americans.
when we came 30 years ago, that we are trying.
Then also we didn't learn the skill.
Then our mindset also like that.
Like that.
Yeah.
We feel it's expensive. But for them, it's not expensive.
Rupees coffee.
Swamiji, they will translate and tell you $20.
I used to buy burfi, 8 annas. Now it is $5, 5 rupees.
Yeah.
I said, what is this?
Kasata ice cream we used to get in college. 12 rupees. 12 rupees now you cannot get water also.
No, you can't even get tea.
They will convert and tell us, Swamiji, you're $20 only for you. Why are you looking back and forth?
Yeah.
They are the ones who won't even look at price tag and shopping. We are the ones who will look at.
That's what we said. We said if you bargain, we are from
And technology also very high. Super. And America is backward.
Coconut water wala will have the GPay. You just have to scan this thing on your phone and you get paid.
This time it is so funny. My brother picked me up from Bangalore airport.
How to do that, I don't know.
Yeah, show the phone, Swamiji. That's it. You have an account, you show the phone, it scans and it goes. You show the guy, okay, I have paid.
Jackfruit vendor.
Yeah.
Thela wala.
Yeah.
He knows better than any one of us how to handle.
Swamiji removed the middleman
Exactly.
and really helped the poor. Small businesses and all.
And now everything gets at least accounted, right? Otherwise, everything was black money so far. You can get whatever and nobody to ask, right?
Modi ji government has done that.
Amazing. He worked for those people.
But still, Hindus are blaming Swamiji. That's what I don't understand.
Eh?
Hindus are still blaming. What did he do? He didn't do this, he didn't do that. You can't do everything.
What they want him to do, they didn't do it.
He promised 15 lakhs in everybody's account apparently, and we didn't get it still.
Yeah.
Black money people. Whoever had black money, they really get money.
It's on.
Yes, sir.
So they're all listening. They're all listening.
Mic is off. Sir. Mic now.
No, it is not.
It's on.
That's
So they are all listening to what we are.
they'll be missing it. Sir. You cannot claim we didn't say it. Like,
ओ श्री गणेशाय नमः। श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। श्री सद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूतमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि। सन्तोषिणी जगन्माता मम सौभाग्यवृद्धये नमस्करोमि भक्त्या त्वां प्रसन्ना वरदा भव। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ॐ नमः प्रणवार्थाय शुद्धज्ञानैकमूर्तये निर्मलाय प्रशान्ताय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रयविनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः। नीलाम्बुजश्यामलकोमलाङ्गं सीतासमारोपितवामभागं पाणौ महासायकचारुचापं नमामि रामं रघुवंशनाथम्। गणपति आदरवशीर्षम्। ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः। स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्ददातु। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ नमस्ते गणपतये त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं तत्त्वमसि त्वमेव केवलं कर्तासि त्वमेव केवलं धर्तासि त्वमेव केवलं हर्तासि त्वमेव सर्वं कल्वितं ब्रह्मासि त्वं साक्षादात्मासि नित्यं। ऋतं वच्मि सत्यं वच्मि अवत्वं माम् अवभक्तारम् अवश्रोतारम् अवधातारम् अवधातारम् अवानूचानमवशिष्यम् अवपश्चात्ताद् अवपुरस्ताद् अवोत्तरात्ताद् अवदक्षिणात्ताद् अवचोर्ध्वात्ताद् अवादरात्ताद् सर्वतो मां पाहि पाहि समन्ताद्। त्वं वाङ्मयस्त्वं चिन्मयः त्वमानन्दमयस्त्वं ब्रह्ममयः त्वं सच्चिदानन्दाद्वितीयोऽसि त्वं प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वं ज्ञानमयो विज्ञानमयोऽसि सर्वं जगदिदं त्वत्तो जायते सर्वं जगदिदं त्वत्तस्तिष्ठति सर्वं जगदिदं त्वयि लयमेष्यति सर्वं जगदिदं त्वयि प्रत्येति त्वं भूमिरापो नलो निलो नभः त्वं चत्वारि वाक्पदानि त्वं गुणत्रयातीतः त्वम् अवस्थात्रयातीतः त्वं देहत्रयातीतः त्वं कालत्रयातीतः त्वं मूलाधारस्थितोऽसि नित्यं त्वं शक्तित्रयात्मकः त्वां योगिनो ध्यायन्ति नित्यं त्वं ब्रह्मा त्वं विष्णुस्त्वं रुद्रस्त्वमिन्द्रस्त्वमग्निस्त्वं वायुस्त्वं सूर्यस्त्वं चन्द्रमास्त्वं ब्रह्मभूर्भुवस्वरों गणादिं पूर्वमुच्चार्य वर्णादीस्तदनन्तरम् अनुस्वारः परतरः अर्धेन्दुलसितं तारेण रद्धम् एतत्तव मनुस्वरूपं पूर्वरूपम् अकारो मध्यमरूपम् अनुस्वारश्चान्त्यरूपं बिन्दुरुत्तररूपं नादः सन्धानं सगंहिका सन्धिः सैषा गणेशविद्या गणकऋषिः नृचित्गायत्री छन्दः गणपतिर्देवता ॐ गं गणपतये नमः एकदन्तं चतुर्हस्त तन्नो दन्ति प्रचोदयात् एकदन्तं चतुर्हस्तं पाशमङ्कुशधारिणं रथं च वरदं हस्ते बिभ्राणं मूषकध्वजं रक्तं लम्बोदरं शूर्पकर्णकं रक्तवाससं रक्तगन्धानुलिप्ताङ्गं रक्तपुष्पैः सुपूजितं भक्तानुकम्पिनं देवं जगत्कारणमच्युतम् आविर्भूतं च सृष्ट्यादौ प्रकृतेः पुरुषात् परम् एवं ध्यायति यो नित्यं स योगी योगिनां वरः नमो व्रातपतये नमो गणपतये नमः प्रमथपतये नमस्तेऽस्तु लम्बोदराय एकदन्ताय विघ्ननाशिने शिवसुताय वरदमूर्तये नमो नमः ॐ शान्तिः 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 वेरी गुड So we are on 16. जीवं कल्पयते पूर्वं ततो भावान् पृथग्विधान् बाह्यानाध्यात्मिकांश्चैव यथा विद्यस्तथा स्मृतिः By taking the dream example, Gaudapadacharya established that the world of waking is not much different from the world of dream. Both of them are relative reality. Both of them draw their existence from the very observer, the Kutastha Atma. Observer here means Kutastha Atma. As long as I chose to be in the dream as an observer of the dream world enjoy a reality. And also it appears as absolute reality. And I do get both positive and negative results out of dream. But its reality will not last. Its reality will last only as long as I am under the spell of the dream. So, there is a Purvapaksha raised, I think in 13 and 14th verse, that you cannot compare dream with waking. That is the objection. Why? Because in dream world, in the waking world, it is more real. You are able to see the same person second day. And everybody is seeing the same thing. And the sun and the moon and the stars, that is not your creation. All these arguments are there. So therefore, you cannot compare dream and dismiss waking as dream. This is a very beautiful argument. And for that, Gaudapada says, in dream also it is the same. Why? You are also dealing with people, different people. Is it not? In dream also you deal with your brother-in-law, father-in-law, mother-in-law, all those things. They are all different people. And you say you don't see the same dream every time. That is also there. Here also in one dream you are seeing the whole life. So you are also getting up, going to the office, coming back, sleeping, and you see your children growing up. All those things are there in short time. It is happening. And also, it is, you say the sun and the moon and the stars is not your creation. In dream also you create sun and moon, stars, etc. So, he says there is no difference. It is only the projection of mind. Both are projection of mind. Therefore, it is the same. He argues that and dismisses that, the Purvapaksha there. So, the moment you wake up, instead of being a dream observer, I become an observer in a different level. I become a waker observer, then the dream world collapses and it loses its reality. In fact, its very reality is stripped off. And I am waker observer, another new world come into being, Jagrat Prapancha, and this Jagrat Prapancha is also absolute real for me when you are up in the waking state. But Gaudapada says this Jagrat Prapancha is also only a relative reality, because its existence is dependent upon the waker, the observer. Why? Because in Sushupti, the Jagrat Prapancha is not there. Why observer is not there? So therefore, it is subject to dismissal. Suppose I wake up from the waker state to another level of reality, then this Jagrat Prapancha also disappears. So it is a platform from where you look at it. Like sunrise, sunset. When you are standing on the surface of the earth, you look at it, there is a sunrise, sunset. Now you go to, what is that? North Pole. What happens? There is no sunset, sunrise. It's 6 months the sun is there. So where is sunset and sunrise? No. You go to moon. There is no sunset, sunrise. I don't know Mars, what is the view? We have to find out. So the platform changes, the whole vision changes. Same way here also. The ego is at the level of the waking world. identifying with the body, mind, intellect, at that time the whole world looks very real. Now, modern science also prove that, isn't it? Reality, what the objectivity of an object is dismissed now. What is that? You are looking at a chair, but the scientist will say it is nothing but permutation combination of atom. So, this atoms, the movement, continuous movement is depicted as Bhagavan Shankara's, Lord Shiva's dance. So there is a book also, a scientist has written, Dancing with the Woolly Masters. It's a very beautiful book. You should read that. He compared the whole creation is Nataraja's dance. So there he compares that. The entire creation is nothing but the combination of these dancing of these atoms, molecules. So that is what Gaudapada says. So it is at the level of matter. So waking world also is at the level of matter. Anything that is matter is dismissible. So sukale satyavat bhati prabhote sati asat bhavet. Sukale satyavat bhati. When it is there, you feel it is real, like dream. As long as you dream, it is real. The dream snake is real. Poisonous, biting, dream thief is real. But you wake up only, you realize. In its own time, it enjoys reality. In a different plane, it loses its reality. As the pramata. Now, I don't have to explain pramata, right? Okay. Last time somebody was looking at me. Pramata. Pramata is the observer, the subject. Pramata, Vishwa, Taijasa and Pratnya. Now Pramata here is what? Ego, not Paramatma. From ego level there is Vishwa, Taijasa, Pratnya. Vishwa, Taijasa, Pratnya, remember, waking, dream and deep sleep. So Vishwa, Taijasa and Pratnya change. The observer changes, the prameya, the object also changes. No prameya can be absolute reality. Prameya means objects. No object can be absolute reality. If any prameyam in any level is relative reality, then what is absolute reality? The absolute reality will not be a prameyam. Means what? It is not subject to objectification. So I cannot see Bhagavan. If you want to see Bhagavan, Bhagavan has to become an object for you. That means what? You are reducing Bhagavan's infinitude to what? Finitude. Once he become an object, then it is time bound. That is why all avatars are time bound. They are not absolute. They live longer, but that's all. One day they have to go. That is the niyati. Since all prameyams are relative reality, the absolute reality will be aprameyam. Prameyam. Now what is this absolute reality which exists but not a relative reality, not an object? I, the subject, Atma, alone can be only absolute reality. This is what we discussed in the morning. Is karma siddhi. What is that? Tattvamasi Mahavakya Tum Padartha Shodhanam. When you say Tvam, you, there are two meanings. One is Vachyartha, another is Lakshyartha. What is Vachyartha? Ahankara. Whenever we say I, what is that? Ahankara. But with Ahankara, what you have to know? Using the Ahankara Shabda, you have to know Lakshyartha. What is Lakshyartha? Is Paramatma. I gave an example in the morning that Maharajapuram Sandhanam, he is giving a concert, and in that concert, Lalgudi Jayaraman is playing violin. And what do you call this? Another Gadam is there. Somebody famous, I forgot his name. Eh? Somebody. Now, all these three names are names of the place. Maharajapuram is a place. Lalgudi is a place. Now, from that is what? Vachyartha. Now, from Vachyartha, what you have to derive? Lakshyartha. The person, Jayaraman, Mahasantanam. This we have to derive. This is called from Vachyartha, how you go to Lakshyartha. Here also, whenever she say you, so that's why in Bhashya, in Brahma Sutra also, Bhagavan starts with this. Yushmat asmat pratyayoho vishaya vishayinoho tamaprakashavat viruddhasvabhavatvad itaretara bhavanam anubhavatau. So dharmanamavi. So he says, you and me, this yushmat asmat pratyaya, vishaya vishayi, viruddha svabhava, both are contrary in nature. But a combination logically is not possible. Whatever you say, the commentator there gives very elaborate discussion on this. They are like darkness and night. Combination is not possible. But a combination is brought about. And that is called adhyasa. So this establishment of adhyasa is very important for understanding Vedanta. Because so all other school dismisses, there is no adhyasa. Then it's a problem. So therefore, I, the absolute reality, who lends reality to the relatively real world objects. So, Bhagavan means what? I, aham. That aham is the one lends reality to ego, ahankara. Through what? Reflected consciousness, pratibimba atma. So, mind is inert, insentient. It has no capacity to say I. So, the mind is telling I. Why? Because it is reflected, consciousness reflected. Now, the question was asked there, reflection, is it an action? If it is an action on the part of Bhagavan, then Bhagavan has to establish his motive, isn't it? This is the problem. Suppose he say, I deliberately illumine, I deliberately reflect. then it is an action, karma. If it is a karma, then you have to establish motive. If you establish motive, then what happened? Ragadvesha comes, limitation comes. Then he is also, Bhagavan is also like my uncle. And there is no difference. But there is no action here. Sannidhi matrena. In his presence it happens. That's why reflection means don't start thinking it is an act of volition. No. Sannidhi matrena. In his presence. It's like in your presence, reflection of your image happen in the mirror. There is no effort on your part. Same way here also. Therefore, I, the Atma, the absolute reality, projects a relatively real world, and having projected a relative reality, I lend existence to that. Just like in dream. Every object in the dream is only a thought. And I lend existence to the dream world. The tragedy is that the moment I project the dream, I forget that the dream world is depending on me. Once I lose sight of this, the relative reality becomes absolute reality. Think about it. You projected the ghost in the dream and you get frightened. This is what is happening to us here also, waking world also. Every other person is an enemy. Who said it? It's your projection. Similarly, I, the Turiyatma, with the help of Maya Shakti, created the Jagrat Prapancha also. But what is the tragedy? This waking world, having borrowed reality from me, this world is frightening, threatening to me. If you want to be free from this frightening experience, please wake up. That's why all Upanishad Uttishtata, Jagrata, Prapyavaran, Nibodhatha. Every guru is the alarm to wake us up. So I, the Atma, with Maya Shakti, created this world. Now, having said this, Gaudapada Acharya wants to give the order in which the creation has come. That is where we start last time. Really speaking, you cannot give an order to a creation because it is a cyclic process. In a cyclic process, you cannot talk about a beginning and an end. It is not a linear process. Even then, for the sake of discussion, we have to begin somewhere. So, pratipatti kramaha. For understanding creation, we have to start somewhere. So, Atma, with the help of Maya, project the Jiva first. Depending upon Punya and Papa Karma, an appropriate body is given. Now, this is a very big topic, okay?
Where did it start?
Huh?
Where did the first karma start?
So, according to Punya Papa, Karma Phala, body is given. Jiva is created, right? Now the question is, Punya Papa came from where? Karma. Who did the first karma? This is a big job. It will never end. That's why it's a cycle. So there is no problem. You start thinking, linear thinking is a problem. So, it was there. Otherwise, Why Bhagavan created differently? You cannot account for it otherwise. Suppose Bhagavan at random things, that you be this, like that, then what happened? Bhagavan has got, yeah, likes and dislikes any other jiva. No. So there is an order. That order is what? Even in Maya there is an order. Even though it is false, there is an order, isn't it? Maya lokam. Okay. Not only that, an appropriate surrounding also is given. Depending upon the jiva's karmas, the 14 lokas are created, or to exhaust the appropriate vasanas. So our Gurudev used to say, we are all in a big hospital. We are all given. And the doctor has prescribed medicine for us. Each one according to the disease. You cannot complain looking at the next bed. That fellow is getting chicken soup, I am getting barley water. You cannot complain. Why? Why? Because you are admitted for diarrhea, dysentery, stomach problem. The other person is admitted for what? Accident, leg broken, hand broken. So he needs strength. So everybody is given a situation and appropriate to his vasanas. So one should not complain. Even people criticizes you also is because of Bhagavan's will only. If that way you think, you are relaxed. And Gurudev used to say, I remember one time I was traveling with him. So I was his secretary. So one people took advantage of me. Because Swamiji, nobody will go and tell him. His personality is such that everybody is afraid. So they use me. You are very close to him, so you should talk to him. They pumped my ego. So I went and reported the complaint. Somebody was complaining about somebody. I reported to him, this is what. So he looked at me, listened everything. Very patiently he listened. Then at the end of it, he looked at me and said, see, whatever papas you have done in this life, one life is not enough. Why are you carrying somebody's papa? Afterwards, I never talked about anybody. This was a great lesson to me. See, that is Guru. Otherwise, he also joined with me and listen to me and take action and all that. Another trait about him is very peculiar. Suppose you write about somebody to him, that letter will go to that person. He will direct that completely. This is what they say about you. What do you say? Yeah, you settle yourself. I have nothing to do with it. See the thinking. Now, once the jiva and the appropriate environment created by the Lord, who is the Lord? I. The consciousness is the Lord. Lord's job is up to the creation of jiva and jagat. And thereafter the jiva will keep the creation going. Once the jiva is created and left in the environment, then what happens? The jiva look around then he will get the knowledge of environment. The first state is janami. His extrovert sense organs will certainly experience an external world. Those experiences will be registered in his mind. Then he will classify the world. Subjective judgment. Same class can for one a joy, and the other it will be a painful experience. Same Mandukya class. Why? It is all depend upon the vasanas. Yatha vidyaha tatha smriti. Once he classified the world into two, then the next attempt will be whatever the source of joy, he wants to repeat that experience. This jnanam and smaranam will produce a desire to repeat. Our whole life is like that, right? Once you experience the gulab jamun or rasagula, you want to have it more. And whatever he classify as a source of sorrow, he want to avoid. Pravritti, navritti. Therefore, jnanam produces memory, which makes you either pravritti or navritti, which are two types of karma. Janati, smarati, ichchati, yatate. These are the steps. This pravritti nivritti karma produces punya papa phalam. Every action has a visible result, drishtaphalam, and adrishtaphalam. Now this is what all other religion misses it, you see. This is a contribution of Hinduism to the world of humanity. Therefore, I start accumulating punya papa. Some karma phalas are immediate and others may not fructify in this life. It's like a paddy field, rice, immediate 6 months time. But coconut, 5 years. So same way, karma phalas are also some of them. Now, which one fructify fast, which one fructifies later, we don't know. That depends upon our karma. That's why you see some people who are all doing all atrocities, enjoying life. And people who are very honest and living a simple life, they suffer. Why it is so? This is because of past karma phalas. So, therefore, next life is inevitable to enjoy the karma phala. Death is only a temporary respite. Thus the cycle continues. I am the absolute truth. This knowledge alone will release you from the cycle of birth and death. Nothing else. So this conviction has to be there. Then only moksha is possible. The moksha itself is not convinced, then there is no hope. Okay, 17th verse. Anishchita yatha rajjuhu andhakare vikalpita sarpadharadhibhirbhavaihi tatvadatma vikalpitaha. अनिश्चिता यथा रज्जुः अन्धकारे विकल्पिता सर्पधाराधिभिर्भावै तत्त्वदात्मा विकल्पितः. So the famous example of Rajju Sarpa is not Shankaracharya's creation, you see. His Param Guru has already given. Gaudapadacharya's Shishya was Govinda Bhagavatpada. Govinda Bhagavatpada Shishya was Shankaracharya.
So Veda doesn't refer
Huh?
Vedic scriptures don't refer Rajju Sarpa Swamiji.
Huh?
In the Vedas, we don't see the Rajju Sarpa reference.
No.
This is the first place.
Mandukya is the first place it comes.
Veda, I don't think it is there. I don't know, I have to check. Pradarnya is there or not, I have to check. Must be there. Somewhere it is there. But Gaudapadacharya included in his Karika. Yeah. So, Gaudapadacharya have already indicated the Swapna is a relative reality. For that there are so many terms are used. Mithya, Vyavaharika Satyam, relative reality, etc. Now he gives here the most famous example. Rajju Anthakare Anischita. The verse. Rajjuhu Anthakare Anischita. Rope is not clearly seen when there is partial light or partial darkness. Because when we used to listen to this example, we used to get tired, see. Aa gaya example. Used to the whole crowd used to feel miserable. But our Gurudev used to warn us, saying that don't look at it as a boring example, because every time Shankaracharya mentioned this example, he bring out some new meaning. So that is where you should look at, not at the example. Now here, Gaudapadacharya says, Anischita, not clearly seen. Because of partial light, it is partially recognized as something lying in front of me. It is this partial knowledge that creates problem. So you have to connect that to self, you see. Then only the example makes sense. It is not that we don't know ourselves, okay? We know. I am. But I don't know what exactly is my nature. This is called partial knowledge. Anischita. If it is totally dark, then there is no problem. If I am not self-conscious, self-aware, then there is no problem. Like animals, etc., they are blissful. But human being has this problem because you are aware. That awareness is there. You are self-conscious. Because of that self-conscious only, we are appreciating our limitations. The limitations are felt. Is it not? The sense of incompleteness. In every experience that we go through, there is an emptiness. That is called self-awareness. the more you feel that, the more chances are for your spiritual growth. People think that it is depression, suppression, depression, but actually Vedantic sense, it is a sense of growth, if you take it that way. That's why Bhagavan, Vishnu has got this conch. He blow the conch, and the call of the higher. The call of the higher is felt how? Boring life. That is a sign. See, the moment you start feeling Monday through Friday life and Saturday, Sunday, routine life, monotonous life, that itself is a step for growth. But we take it as what? We try to divert ourselves, we take refuge in something else to get a kick out of it. That is where the problem. Instead of directing our thought, is there anything better than this? Is there anything higher than this? That thought comes. Then Bhagavan help you. Otherwise, what we still forget about it, then Bhagavan uses the second ayudham. Bhagada, 1 or 2 knock. Everything is going smoothly, Swamiji, suddenly something happened. Must be Shani is looking at Rahu. That is astrological way of saying. But something happens. Give you little something. Knock you down. That becomes a problem. And then that's why in the hospital you lie down, you say, I will remember Bhagavan, I will go to temple every day. All those promises you do. But then coming out healthy, forget. Then also Bhagavan is a very compulsive, aggressive salesman. He is watching you, isn't it? He knows. Then he uses Sudarshanam. Sudarshanam means what? Sushtu Darshanam. Clear vision. He cut off the bondage. Give you clear darshanam. And when you have clear darshanam, that is moksha, the lotus learn for moksha. A beautiful symbolism. So, partial light and partial darkness, and therefore knowledge is not clear. There is something in front of me. This is Samanya Jnanam. Now about Paramatma, we have Samanya Jnanam. But we don't have the Vishesha Jnanam. So that Vishesha Jnanam is called rope. This knowledge is not there. This partial knowledge does a terrible job. What are they? This partial ignorance has these powers. Avarana Shakti, concealing power, Vikshepa Shakti, projecting power. Now you must have learned this long time ago, but when you are learning now, looking at the same word, it has got a different meaning. Avarana Shakti, Vrikshepa Shakti, the understanding has to change. So projecting power is Vrikshepa Shakti. This partial ignorance with its Avarana Shakti covers the rope partially. Because I don't know it as rope. Ropeness is covered. Once the ropeness is covered, then the projecting power of ignorance come into play. It projects anything other than rope. Now this question is there in Brahma Sutra. Does it project similar thing, or is there any order in projection? If you say it projects similar, then there is a problem. What is the problem? You say mind project the world. That means what? Mind must have seen the world before. See, like snake. You are projecting snake because snake you have experienced before, that memory is in the mind. And it projects upon the rope. Similarly, you are projecting the world, means what? The world experience was there before. How did you get when the world was not created? This was a question asked in Brahma Sutra. Shankaracharya answers, it is not necessary. To have a projection, it doesn't have to have a similarity. Sometimes it may be a rope, sometimes it may be a streak, sometimes it may be a stick or break in the earth. All those things are possible. Or mala. So there is no order in which that it should, you should project only snake. So projection can be anything. So anything other than rope, that is a point here. We have to understand. Generally, what our mind projects is whatever we are afraid of. Even a simple headache, we start imagining brain tumor, etc. These are all Vikshepa Shakti. There is no snake at all. It was a projection. But that non-existent snake is capable of causing havoc in one's life. Our Gurudev used to dramatize this whole thing, the snake example. Surji in Bombay, after closing his shop, he come home. Before he get on to his apartment, 4th floor, those days there was no elevator and all that. He has to walk up. Before getting into the apartment, the building itself, he felt something bit him. And he looked at it, it's a snake. He came running to the 4th apartment, lie down, called his wife. This poison is coming up. It is already reached the thighs. It will not take much long to hit the heart. He lie down. He called all his people, told his wife also, this is my last. Now, brother-in-law was there. He was thinking, if this person, the snake bit him, what is the condition of the snake? He wanted to know. He himself is a snake. He's a Marwadi gentleman. So he himself is a snake. Suppose snake has bit him, what happened to the snake? He wanted to know. So he went down to look for where he claimed the snake bit him, and he found out it was rope. So he came and told his sister, शोक मनाने की जरूरत नहीं. No need. to be sorrowful. Why? It was nothing but rope. Now, this man was told it is a rope. Will he agree? No. They have to carry him along with the, what is that? The cot, four floors down. And then he has to show him this is a rope, not snake. Still he will not agree. He will take the rope, put it on his. Then he has to realize it is rope, it is rope, it is not snake. So this is our condition. Non-existent snake creates this problem. Non-existent samsara creates so much problem. That snake, even though non-existent, but to this person it is real. Therefore we classify this as pratibhasika satyam, a relative reality. I lend reality to the non-existent snake. All our problems, you look at it, samsara problem, who gives reality to it? That is why you have to shift from what? Ego to Paramatma. In the wake of knowledge, it disappears. We cannot dismiss as a non-existent thing, but cannot classify it as Satyam also. This is called Maya. You cannot dismiss it as non-existent. Dream, you cannot dismiss it non-existent. But can you give reality to it? No. So this is the situation. The world comes under this category. Samsara snake one cannot get rid of by any amount of rituals or running away, because the whole samsara is rajju sarpavat mithya. Only solution is to take a flashlight and then see the snake. See this rope, not snake, see this rope. Snake disappears. In fact, there is no disappearance of snake. You will understand that there was no snake to run away. So too, for the samsara snake, the flashlight is shastram. Anthakare rajjuhu anischita. In the partial darkness, the rope is not clearly seen. Vikalpita, mistaken as sarpaha, snake. Dhara, a stream of water or crack on the earth. Tadvade, so too Atma, I, the Turiyam. Because of Maya Shakti, Maya Shakti here means what? Not clearly seen. Atma Vikalpitaha. Turiyam is mistaken as Vishwa Taijasa Prajna. Really speaking, I am not any one of them. I am Turiyaha. Continuing that thought, 18th verse. Nischitayam yatha rajvam vikalpo vinivartate rajjure veti chadvaitam tatvat atma vinischayah.
तद्वदात्मा विनिश्चयः
Nischitayam yatha rajvam vikalpo vinivartate rajjure veti chatvaitam tattvadatma vinischayah. Rope snake can be removed by only one method. Karana nivritti alone, karya nivritti. The rope ignorance has produced the snake. By removing the rope ignorance alone will remove the snake. Just as a flashlight alone will remove the snake. The one who is lending reality to the snake is the adhishthanam. Without rope, you would not have mistaken it for snake. And that adhisthana jnanena sarpa bhaya nivritti. Adhisthana jnanena sarpa bhaya nivritti. Now this is Vedanta standpoint. That's why all other schools, we accept them as they are, but cannot stand this particular point. That's why jnanam alone will give you moksha when we say it is not a fanatical statement because of this situation. See, the problem is ignorance. And ignorance can go only through jnanam. If problem was something else, then some other remedy is possible. But here, the original problem is ajnanam. Ajnana nivritti alone is moksha. So, rajvam nischitayam, clear knowledge of the rope one has to gain. Rajjuhu eva iti. It is nothing but rope. Vikalpaha vinivartate. All mistakes disappears. Once the knowledge is gained, all errors disappears. And Advaitam, non-dual truth alone remains. Because rope was, rope is, rope will be. While you are seeing snake also, what was that? Rope. So similarly, you gain the knowledge of the Turiyam with the help of Shastra, the torchlight. Then Vishwa, Taijasa, Prajna disappears. What remains is Advaitam. What is that Advaitam? I, the awareness, consciousness. So when ignorance is removed, the relative reality is dismissed. Rope snake is created by rope ignorance, and it can go only by rope knowledge. Therefore, rope is called Satyam. What Vedanta says is that the entire world is Mithya and the Drik observer is Satyam. Subjective ignorance is the cause for the Mithya objects. It can be negated by knowledge of the subject, I. Once this is gone, this is missed, then what happened? Mithya become real. This is what happening to us. We will talk about it next class, okay? Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. From 20th to 27, Shankaracharya is not writing any commentary. I think he is presenting all creation theory there.
How did 14 and 15 we have to go back?
That is, I just mentioned, it's all the Purvaksha.
Oh, okay.
Just today I mentioned that.